Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is Laughing Games here. I'm back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. But today, it's not just gonna be the one match. Today, it is gonna be the full horse? I don't know. It's a best of 7, and it's gonna be a best of 7 between two incredible players. This match is from the Laughing Falcon Invitational, which Laughing Games wasn't there for. So, yeah, I'm actually just going back and casting this match between Trap and between ByuN. So, yeah, I'm really excited to be casting this one. And ByuN already starting it off with a dirty proxy barracks. It being a full best of 7, I really enjoy him bringing out a build like this. So yeah, guys, make sure to leave a like on this video before we get too far into it. Leave a comment down below, type some random gibberish if you will, and then consider becoming a member. Or, I mean, not a member, a subscriber. Hit that bell icon, join the bell gang, you know, all that good stuff, while we wait for this game to heat up, which isn't going to be too long because this proxy racks is about as proxied as proxy racks can possibly get. We see Trap right now maybe being like, maybe it's down here, maybe it's down here, and damn it, that's an SCV. Why is there an SCV there? ByuN, what's going on? But Trap hasn't actually clued into the fact that there is a barracks, like, literally as close as it can be to his base without being inside it. So the proxy barracks is gonna get started off. Trap, though, with his probe scout, has wisened up to this, so he's making a zealot, of course. Now, the problem is, when you're going for a zealot against something like this, is that ByuN is literally the player who's best in the world at microing, I'd say. And that means that he's going to be able to control this Reaper, target down probes, while avoiding the zealot. Should be able to do that. And we'll see if he's able to get any kills. Looks like he's almost got one probe. Does get his first probe. We saw Trap tried to pull a few probes to maybe catch that Reaper, but so far no dice. And the Reaper all of a sudden grabs the second probe. Going to be getting on out of there. Another Reaper is on the way out as well. This has just got to be really uncomfortable for Trap. He's going to reposition his Stalker on the high ground, knowing that these Reapers can jump on into his base, potentially get some damage. ByuN just trying to target a probe, bounces one completely out of away from that assimilator. But for now, things do seem to just be heading into Normalsville, as the Nexus is still getting up for Trap. ByuN's got a command center on the way. On the low ground, his Cyclone is going to be the tool he uses to protect that. And then he'll have out a Cyclone, a couple of Reapers. Not going to be looking too bad for ByuN. He is sending those Reapers across the map again. Going to be looking for something to get done. The Cyclone on the way still. And yeah, it doesn't take too long for units to get across the map submarine. So the Stalker is going to show up at this command center. Maybe be able to delay it, hit that SCV a little bit. ByuN's gonna have to send down another, but if he can also secure a kill on the Stalker with the Cyclone, which he very well will be able to do, which is quite nice for ByuN. Yeah, we do see that Cyclone now gonna be engaging the Adept. As long as it's microed a little bit, we'll be able to take care of that. All the while, the Reapers secured another couple of kills. Looks like one of them died, but yeah, 3 more probes just went down. So that's quite painful. We see this Cyclone is going to be able to clean up this Adept, so I believe got the Adept, the Zealot, and the Stalker. That Cyclone putting in the work, and now ByuN looking pretty darn good. Is getting all those units early on against a Protoss is just phenomenal. The fact that you've already made the Protoss invest into more units. This Reaper's even going to make it into the main base spot. That is just a Robo on the way for Trap so far. No Twilight Council or anything like that. So ByuN's going to be in a rather confident position. He wants to get that probe, but good micro from Trap does save it. And the game's just going to continue on. We now see a Siege Tank on the way for ByuN, kind of the next step after the Cyclones. A Banshee follow-up, extra barracks going up. And then a bunker as well. So yeah, just heading into a bit of a normal macro game. Of course, it is submarines, so that's gonna change the outlook on the game in the first place. Now let's take a look. A Robo is gonna be on the way for Trap, so no blink. Just going right into a Robo allows you to have out maybe one or two of those strong defensive units like a Colossus, maybe even a Disruptor, who knows. Oh, pardon me there. But then, of course, he could also make an Immortal beforehand. Looks like it's going to be a Prism, though, by Trap. Trap, a player with very good micro 2, is going to be able to potentially make something happen with that. Banshee's moving across the map for ByuN. As we lock onto that, we'll see if it's able to get some damage done. And I believe there is no shield batteries at the natural base in the main base, so this Banshee going to be able to two-shot workers, and ByuN is one of those players. Once again, very good micro, going to get to work right away with this Banshee. The Stalkers of Trap are already on top of this Banshee, though, and oh, that's rather painful for ByuN. Losing literally just one probe. That was phenomenal for Trap. And ByuN's going to be a little bit uncomfortable in this position after losing that Banshee. You feel bad going for that investment and not getting anything done. Behind this, though, ByuN getting up Stim, has a couple siege tanks out. Actually going to be going up against a Disruptor, though. Trap did get that Gravitech Drive. So he's going to have that speedy Disruptor drop. Scan was able to kill off that Observer. Nicely done by ByuN, not having to worry about that. And then Trap just going to be going into a second Disruptor, followed up by Colossus, most likely, based on the extended Thermal Lance. A Twilight's on the way, a Forge is on the way. This is a rather late third base from Trap, but considering the map, considering the way the game started, we really can't fault him for that. ByuN, interestingly enough, is throwing up supply depots, which are going to zone out that Disruptor shot. Oh my gosh, that supply depot was actually perfectly timed by ByuN. If he hadn't thrown that up, the Disruptor could make it into his mineral line much sooner, probably get more SCV kills. That was really darn good by ByuN, and it's the little things that make a pro the best. Just walling off like that, keep the Disruptors, keep those Novas out of our base. And now we see Trap just throwing up more gateways. He's got +1 on the way. He's getting up Blink. We'll see if that's going to come to fruition, as ByuN might be looking to go for an attack before this. He's got Stim Pack done in a second. He's going to have Combat Shield too. He's bringing the tanks, and he's got a rather large amount of bio. Now, it's really going to be painful for Trap if he misses the Disruptor shots. He's got 2 Disruptors in his Prism. He is looking for ByuN's army. Will he get the big shots? Oh, does ByuN stim and react? Yes, he does. Both those Novas whiff. ByuN is now just going to charge forward, knowing that 2 Disruptors are not going to be there to help defend this third base location. The bio's going to come forward. The tanks are going to get set up. And this is just going to be looking like a very, very tough hold for the Korean Protoss player. The tanks are shelling away now. And looks like Trap is just going to straight up abandon the third base and abandon the game, knowing that it's over and that he can't stop ByuN, who's just secured a kill on that third base. So, yeah, beautifully done there by ByuN. Let's load into the next match. Okay, here we are. Into game number 2 between these players. It's gonna be, once again, ByuN and Trap taking each other on, but this time it's a much larger map. Jagannatha, however you want to pronounce it. Yeah, a much larger map. Definitely the Protoss's map pick, as this was done with the losers pick format, so that's basically gonna mean that ByuN, he picked Submarine probably as the first map, I assume. And then Trap says, alright, bigger map, my place, my stomping grounds. And so, based on that procession, we would say that Trap is going to be the favorite in this game. Now, of course, that definitely is not the trend in these tournaments. Players all the time are able to overcome what's considered a map disadvantage, if that makes any sense. And let's pull up that production tab. We already have that up in the top left. Okay. So, we see a probe moving across the map for Trap. Double gas play by the Terrans. So once again, ByuN going very aggressive, showing us that this style is not dead, despite some Terrans just macroing up more so in TVP. ByuN still wants to bring the hate. Trap's going to come in with his probe, not see the barracks just yet. And he's looking for it. He's like, where's the barracks, man? Where is it? Trap already starts his Zealot, starts his Cybercore, then scouts the barracks of ByuN. And so that basically means that Trap Might have reacted a little bit strongly. However, after seeing the double gas, that's basically letting him know that the Terran is going to be staying on one base longer. And yeah, so ByuN just setting things up, trying to play a little bit of mind games with Trap, but it doesn't really affect things too much. Like, a Protoss is wholly happy going for a Cybercore first, then into Nexus, particularly against a quick factory play. Alright, this Reaper now gonna cross the map for ByuN. Barreling across the map, a second Reaper is also gonna be on the way. Trap, though, not having any shenanigans. Goes for a shield battery in its main base. Says, you know what? Losing one, maybe two probes, definitely not worth it. I'm just going for this battery. So I really like the call by Trap to do something like that. This is also allowing him to move out with his Adept before. And so now this Adept going to be crossing the map. There is a Reaper out for ByuN. There's a Hellion that's going to be out soon. However, the Adept, she's shading into the main base. She's going to be able to find this SCV at the natural. ByuN should be able to kill off this Adept unless Trap recalls her. Yeah, ByuN pulling away the Reaper. Oh, playing with fire, trying to get that Adept. Looks like she does escape across the map for now, but should be hunted down by ByuN, although Trap moving the Adept, shading once again, trying to keep her alive. ByuN doesn't even move out onto the map, so a little bit worried, actually, not going for that Adept kill. And so that was a positive for Trap. If you kill the SCV but lose the Adept, it's probably not the best situation for the Protoss, but if you're able to kill off the SCV, get away with the Adept like this lady did, then you are sitting pretty. Now, ByuN's coming across the map with his Reapers and Hellions, looking to engage the Adepts. All these units deal extra damage versus light, so this is really darn good by ByuN. He's lining up the Hellions to try and get good shots on the Adept. That one Hellion finishes off two Adepts. Another Hellion is lifted in the sky, is now released by that Phoenix, so ByuN may be able to get some good shots. Just starting to kill off his first few probes. Lines up another shot, able to kill 3 so far. This is just for a handful of units, keep in mind. Able to get a 4th. Phoenix do lift up the Hellion, and in the end, what do we see as far as the trade goes? 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions for 4 probes and 2 Adepts. I will say that is a good trade for ByuN, as the Protoss player once again losing those units, then also losing some probes, some mining time. And the Terran already has got his natural base done. Marines are trying to shoo away those Phoenix, but of course they don't have energy. They were used to lift up those... those Hellions. And there's the Robo. A couple of barracks are now on the way here for ByuN. There's an eBay on the way too. Third barracks on the way up. So yeah, ByuN going for a 3 racks aggressive play once again. I mean, he basically just moved across the map and killed Trap in the first game, so we really can't fault him for trying this again. Of course, Yaganatha is a much larger map. ByuN's also getting up turrets because he's afraid of the Phoenix present. Knows that those left unattended will hurt you. Oh, the Cyclone actually gets lifted up. Marines doing what they can, but wow, a straight up kill by Trap on that Cyclone, realizing how much HP those Phoenix have. They can really get some work done under the control of a confident player, and that's exactly what we saw. Phoenix are going to come back on in, lift up that SCV. ByuN's actually supply blocked because of that. That's a little bit painful for him. He has to queue up another SCV towards that, and he might even want to be building like another turret up in his base, as these Phoenix are just going to grow and grow as far as being a pain. Trap behind this does have his 3rd base on the way. He's got a Robo on the way behind this too, an Immortal already out. He's throwing up his Forge and Twilight, and then just gonna try and keep pressure on ByuN as long as possible. Hope that he thins out ByuN's army enough. Hope that he keeps the pressure on enough that ByuN's attack when it comes across the map really isn't that scary. Now, yeah, let's take a look here. We see ByuN still just producing a lot of Marines and Marauders, but I'm a little bit scared. ByuN's moving out. I believe Trap identifies this, so yeah, he definitely knows that this is coming. But is he going to be able to stop it? I honestly think the answer is going to be yes, just due to this Colossus presence. We've got a shield battery at the third, one building at the natural, the Phoenix. A lot of tanking can be done by them. ByuN maybe realizes that if he just charges across the map, he would be doomed. So he's actually taking his sweet time. Okay, Marines and Marauders out on the map for ByuN, just positioning, looking for anything they can get. But yeah, he's really taking his time to go for this attack. I do feel he's still going to go for the attack because we've yet to see a third base or anything like that. Maybe he's just looking for a good pickoff, a miracle engagement, because he knows that if he goes for a direct attack against Trap, it's not going to happen. We see a scan go down by ByuN. He sees that Observer, he's going to stim some Marines, be able to grab it. That's really nicely done by him. He's still out on the map with this Bio, maybe wanting to drag his opponent out. He loads up into the Medivacs, but sees the Phoenix, so he's going to have to unload there. Make sure to unload these units and get away. ByuN is looking to go for a very, very bold drop. Does have to unload the units. Still just producing Marines and Marauders off of 2 bases. This is causing his supply to shoot up, but at the same time, he's going to fall behind on the supply later on as he's up against a 3-base Protoss. ByuN, though, now just stimming on in. There is sentries with energy. They can drop force fields. There's a ton of Widowmines, though. Trap trying to drag the Widowmine shots over ByuN's army, and they deal so much friendly fire. ByuN's army just reduced to red... just reduced to red stains on the ground, or just reduced to red HP. God, those Widowmine shots just killed off so much of ByuN's force. All of a sudden, their players are tied up on supply. ByuN killed off most of the Phoenix, yes, but oh gosh, that was absolutely terrible. He's going to be going for this drop right in the face of those Colossus. So, I mean, oh, Trap could lose some of his Colossus here. Looks like he might lose 1 or 2, but of course these Medivacs are committed into the main base. This is just looking really, really rough for ByuN. A Widowmine's going to go off on that Phoenix, but yeah, ByuN's in a really tough spot. He does focus down that Phoenix, so he should be able to get out with his units. But, by gosh, that was painful for ByuN. He's still producing lots of units behind this, but Trap now confident enough to throw up a 4th base. He's got Blink on the way. He's got Charge done. ByuN does have an upgrade lead for now. Army supply, though, is more or less even. This is a Protoss player with 2 bases, and now Trap's just going to push across the map. ByuN going for a drop with these red Medivacs. A mad YOLO play is now trapped out on the map with this army. Widowmines are going to go off in the Zealot. Trap splitting against them, though, and oh my gosh, ByuN GG's out. Let's go back and have his little look, though. Just at that insane Widowmine drag play by Trap. That was completely what won him the game. Like, look at this. Look at this. There's how many Widowmines? 6 Widowmines. And then the Phoenix, they just fly perfectly over the army. They reduced this entire army to red, giving ByuN no choice but to retreat away. Of course, it also meant that the mines did not connect with the main Protoss force. And yeah, that was just beautifully done by Trap. Even 1 more mine and all that bio would have died. And I bet ByuN would have just GG'd there. In the end, though, Trap did just come out on top in the game. Alright, welcome back into game number 3. I almost went into my usual intro there. It's not too often that I get a chance to do these big best of 5s or best of 7s, but for this one I thought, you know what, let's cast the whole shebang. Let's do it. We'll do it live. And yeah, now here we are. It is ByuN taking on Trap on the map Pillars of Gold. Yeah, we shall see who's able to take the lead in this series. I mean, by rights, this is ByuN's map pick, I believe. As, yeah, it's an alright one for Terran. We'll see what he's gonna do, though. So far, ByuN has been favoring the more aggressive plays, which makes sense. I mean, if you're confident that you can make plays, make aggressive sort of moves, then you can absolutely just straight up win the game. No need to get into all that hairy late game stuff. Alright, Trap scouting out, worried about a proxy, things like that. Not gonna find anything though, as ByuN is just building his barracks back at home like a good boy should. Then just gonna be going straight up for a Reaper expand, queuing this SCV down to his natural base. So yeah, normal opening this game, which is cool to see. And now let's take a look. The probe moves across the map. Trap's gonna say, hey, you built in your base for once, good on ya. Still though, Trap goes for a cyber core, like he's already queued. Trap was so convinced that he was being proxied, he goes for the cyber core first, queues up a zealot immediately. In the end though, yeah, just a normal Reaper expand from ByuN, this SCV, working away on this pesky probe, wanting to build that command center, but alas, it cannot due to this probe doing probe things. The SCV does get up the CC though, in the end, all is good. And the Reaper's now being queued on out with a follow-up Marine, just to scout on out by ByuN. I really love it when Terrans do this, making sure that that scouting really happens. ByuN's also looking for this probe, as these two play a bit of mind games. The probe for Trap does run around to the north. Adept now on the way for Trap, going to be able to shoo away any potential Reaper. But the Reaper just scouting out. ByuN a little bit worried about aggression coming out of Trap on the flip side of the coin. The probe's going to go up this ramp. ByuN's going to kill that off with the Reaper, no doubt. And then probably move across the map with the Reaper to scout, knowing that there's no probe out there being a pain. The bunker's about 15 seconds away from finishing, but it looks like the Reaper's actually just going to stay at home with the 2 Marines that ByuN made and allowed this Adept to be shooed away. Trap going to move up this ramp. It's 2 Marines, though, and a Reaper. That's more than enough to shoo away an Adept. And she does not complete her shade. I imagine ByuN will probably just throw those Marines in the bunker, then head on out with the Reaper. He hasn't seen what the Protoss player is doing, so it's important that he does get a scout off. ByuN decides to come home with the Reaper once again, though, just worried about this Adept being a pain. Wants to kill off this Adept, but she shades away. Yeah, I'm amazed that ByuN is just not worried at all by what Trap's going for. Like, if we check out the Terran's main base, there's not a lot of anti-air there, and Oracle maybe could have got something done. But ByuN, I guess, just confident enough that he knows Trap, that he says, yeah, you're probably just playing something more or less standard. And right he is. He's going to move up this ramp, probably see the timing on the robo and say, right, that's got to be a Twilight Council on the way. Of course, DTs could be a possibility that the Terran needs to be aware of. So we'll keep an eye on ByuN's orbital if he's just going to be dropping those mules right away or what. Because, yeah, the Terran really is in the dark for the most part this game. There is ByuN just dropping his fatty mules, so... interesting. Gosh, I would love to pick ByuN's brain right now as to why he chooses what he's gonna go for, what sort of builds, how he picks when to move out and things like that. Now we are gonna be seeing a Widowmine drop moving for ByuN. This will be hitting Trap. Trap's gonna be warping in a couple Stalkers. ByuN's really got all the information he needs. The fact that nothing's come to hit him yet, the fact that he sees the Stalkers warping in to deal with this. ByuN unloading that extra Widowmine, gonna hit a Stalker, but cost him the Medivac, so I'm unsure about that. ByuN also sees the Warp Prism that popped out, knowing that Trap's gonna be getting a bit aggressive in this position. It's that 4-gate blink style from the Protoss that really should have tipped ByuN off. He's got a tank on the way and one already completed. So he's going to have to be careful with his positioning for that. He's got the bunker on the high ground. But oh boy, all of a sudden in comes Trap with his Stalkers, with his Prism. We'll see if he's able to make something happen. I feel like ByuN's in a pretty good defensive spot. Like, this is a lot of Marines, but he is now going to be moving towards his natural base. Second tank is about to pop out. Now that's going to be a huge deal. And looks like Trap maybe thinking of just going on top of that bunker. This tank moves towards the low ground, needs to get set up. SCVs don't repair that. Looks like the tank is there, shoots away on the Stalkers. One volley gets off. Observer is actually just given the high ground vision that Trap needs. Adept shading in 2. ByuN scans, kills the Observer. Of course, the Prism and the Adept can still give that high ground vision. Trap actually, in a very cute move, completes the Adept shade next to that tank. Stalkers blink over, blink on top of that tank, and nothing was there to defend that. Another tank did just pop out for ByuN. That's very important. I wouldn't blame ByuN if he pulled SCVs to help buffer for this right now. The tank will end up shooing the stalkers away, but 7 SCVs have died in the process for this. ByuN's on his way to stim. He's on his way to medivac, so this should start to mark the end of this rush, but Trap, with his good micro, his good control, going to be working away in these supply depots. ByuN's repositioning the tank. Gotta be so careful, though. You never know if Trap will just go for a killer blink on top. The medivacs being here, though, is a rather big deal for the Terran. It's the first sort of indication that you've weathered the storm of the Protoss blink attack. Trap now, though, going to be splitting up his stalkers, blinking 4 into the main base of the Terran, it looks like. All the while, the rest of them are just chilling towards the south. In the main base now, these stalkers are going to be looking for some kills on some SCVs. They've just racked up 4. Probably going to be able to get a bit more depending on the micro of Trap. The rest of these stalkers chilling at the natural base. At the same time, though, ByuN very boldly actually just loaded 2 medivacs worth of units while the attack really still hadn't ended. This Terran player just says, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go for a drop on your side of the map. Trap goes for a blink forward, picks off one of the tanks, is able to grab a second, but oh my gosh, did he lose the Prism? No, he kept the Prism alive, but the problem is there's nothing in his main base to help defend against this. Battery overcharge gets used, but of course, the battery just gets targeted down by ByuN. This drop in the main base is going to be very tough for Trap to clean up. ByuN is making some work happen, kills off 9 probes, and all of a sudden the hard work that Trap did on ByuN's front is not going to be able to make anything happen, or basically be undone. The damage that Trap got done is unByuN'd in a sense. And now we see ByuN just stimming towards the third base of the Protoss player ever confidently. He does decide to back off, though. Probably wants to get medivacs with these units, as they are rather stimmed. Okay, now let's take a look here. Scan goes down by ByuN, kills off the Observer of Trap like it's nothing. It looks like the Protoss player's in a rather tough position right now. We see Trap warping in a couple of Archons, I guess just realizing he needs whatever he can to hold on, but the problem is this is +1 bio with medivac support, and it's just that critical mass of bio, which it's very tough for Protoss to deal with. And I honestly think that Trap is just going to die here. I mean, there's 2 tanks sieging up in a beautiful position. The Prism's going to be looking for some counter damage, but the main army of ByuN needs to be cleaned up by Trap. The Archons are going to move forward, get on top of the siege tanks, which is actually quite significant, but then the problem is the rest of the bio is unchecked since the Archons aren't engaging them. Enough unloads from the Prisms by ByuN to clean up the Archons, and GG gets called. ByuN is going to be the player who takes the 2-1 lead in this series. Okay, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Into the next match, it's gonna be ByuN who was able to take the 2-1 lead, whereas Trap, on the other hand, seems to be having a bit of a tough time dealing with just the relentless Terran aggression that ByuN brings out. Yeah, so we'll see. Like, the aggressive play from Trap, it was done rather well, the 4-gate, I'll say, but in the end, just not anticipating that drop. That's just what killed him. That's just really what killed him there. And that was a ballsy play by ByuN. That's one of the things that makes you love watching this guy. You gotta say though, Trap definitely isn't skimping out on doing his due diligence, as he's scouting out with his probe once again, wanting to make sure that the Terran is indeed behaving. And he will see, once again, it's a barracks in the main base for ByuN. Probe's gonna come up this ramp. And yeah. Marine's on the way for ByuN, interestingly enough. Not going for a Reaper. Makes me think, well, it could just be right into that fast factory that Terrans have been going for. The 1 gas factory play. And it looks like it's just a Marine into CC, interestingly enough, and then a reactor. So ByuN, yeah, just wanting to save that gas, I guess, get up the factory after that. Interesting, interesting. The Marine kills off that probe, which was nice by ByuN. Of course, Trap sees that and says, well, now there's no Reaper out on the map, probably. So I can just Chrono Boost out my Adept. We also see ByuN moving out on the map with this Marine, knowing that there's literally nothing that could be coming his way at this point, really. So we may as well check for a proxy with it. And the factory's on the way. The reactor production is going to be kicking off for the barracks, so we'll see if it's just going to be Marines getting produced, and it is. All the while, Trap is actually going to be going for a rather quick Twilight Council this game. Makes me wonder, what's he going to be going for, Trappy boy? Is it time for that Dark Shrine? I want to see a Dark Shrine this game. I don't know why. I feel like ByuN is a guy who cuts a lot of corners as far as something like that's concerned, so we'll see. Is Trap going to be going for a play like that, or is it just going to be the standard sort of Protoss Blink shenanigans? For now, though, ByuN having to deal with this Adept, which actually kind of just shaded by these Marines. It's going to be close if she'll get away, but it looks like she will. Keeping a bit of pressure on the Terran. Of course, Trap is able to see the Marine count. So he's going to conclude, alright, you got a lot of Marines, so what goes with a lot of Marines? Well, you could be dropping, you could be going for a push. We'll see. For now, though, Trap just going to be getting up a Dark Shrine. I say just a Dark Shrine, but in reality, that's a very bold play, going for something like that. The Robo's on the way now, too, about to finish up. There'll probably be a Prism that gets Chrono Boosted out, and that's why I was looking at whether ByuN was saving Mule energy in the last game. He wasn't, and I wonder if he will this game, because, yeah, the DTs could be a really great decision by Trap. ByuN really cut the corner in the last game. He does have an eBay on the way now, though. Oh my gosh, is ByuN just going to go for blind turrets just with the game sense of a god? I think he might. He's got the eBay. It's either going to be for +1 or turrets, or both. Either way, well, either way, if he builds a turret, he'll be sitting pretty. eBay is done. Is it going to be +1, or are we going to see a couple of turrets start? No turrets just yet. A Raven's on the way, though. Oh my god, ByuN's game sense is on point. Like, we saw in another match that he was skimping out on a lot of detection, but now he just saw the Prism, sees it warping in a couple DTs, and yeah, the turrets are on the way up. They're going to be done in just a second or two, and Trap's really going to get absolutely nothing done with this. The DT's going to run into the natural base. The turret's there, so Trap's like, well, shoot. As, yeah, this just gets completely pushed away by the Terran. Trap invested in this Dark Shrine, got nothing done. I think this DT did manage to grab a couple of SCVs, but at the same time, we see Widowmines are going to burrow, kill off 9 of Trap's probes. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Now, these mines have burrowed. ByuN got them out alive, so he's going to be able to go for a follow-up drop. And killing off 9 probes after basically shutting down a DT rush for minimal losses, 4 SCVs in total, were grabbed by Trap, which I will say is very good, all things considered. But still, losing the 9 is just like, oh god, oh god. Now ByuN, I feel, just with his counter aggression, just ramping up, is going to be very, very tough for Trap to make anything happen. I do like the Archon drop. That's something that's pretty unique. Archon's very darn good, maybe able to engage those Marines, but then we see the follow-up Widowmine drop 4 more dead probes in the main base. Raven comes now towards the natural base, going to be killing off some of these probes. Trap's not even reacting. He's busy microing these Archons in the Prism, trying to grab the Raven, unable to do so just yet. Kills off a few Marines, but playing with fire with that injured Prism. Oh my gosh, another 4 probes just died. This is relentless by ByuN. Raven comes on in the second it has 50 energy. Turret pops on down. Look at that. Some more dead probes. 10 probes dead in total. Make that 11. Do we have 12? Yes, we have 12. This Raven just racking up the kills via auto turret proxy. And, yeah, ByuN now just getting up to third base. Second eBay on the way. Barrack production is now going to start going. The Archons are going for some damage at the natural base. They do get a little bit of work done, but at the same time, oh my gosh, every time I look away, these Widowmines are getting more damage done. 4 more probes just dead. Here goes another drop. Now towards the natural base. ByuN just playing Trap like a fiddle. This Widowmine's gonna go off. 6 more dead probes. By gosh, Trap is just getting rolled here. He's trying to make something happen with the Archons. Almost grabbed a tank, but unsuccessfully. Oh my, okay. Trap just GG's out. I honestly don't blame him there. Let's load into the next game. All right, so we'll see if Trap's able to bring it back from the brink as we get on into this fifth match, pardon me. Sometimes math is hard. Fortunately, you don't need to be good at it to commentate Starcraft. Although, it does help you figure out certain things sometimes, like, some very smart people figure out what's the best time to chrono boost, what's the best time to drop mules, how many SCVs really is the optimal amount, things like that in StarCraft 2. Really anything that involves strategy or thought. That's basically just math. Figuring out what's the most optimal. Trap moving out with his probe scout. Looking for a cheeky proxy. Oh, is this going to be an eBay block by ByuN? Yep, you bet it is. ByuN plopping down that eBay. The thing that drives all Protoss mad these days. Trap, though, immediately as he sees the SCV coming in, pulls 4, 5 probes. Is going to try and shut this down as quickly as possible. And this is what Protoss players need to do against this kind of cheese. ByuN forces the probes off the line. Going to make them work away on this eBay. Then just gets out of dodge. Mess with the Protoss build a little bit. SCV doesn't come back in to continue building this. Just going to cancel that eBay. All the while, ByuN got that factory on the way behind this in that classic build form. This Marine is now out, going to be able to hunt down that probe in the main base of ByuN. So he'll get a guaranteed kill on that, which is nice. Like that. Marine goes ahead, kills off that probe, which is good. Then the reactor and factory are going to be finished up, so Trap's going to know that this is probably going to be some form of Hellion aggression, as that's just what this build leads into traditionally. So we see a Stargate on the way for the Protoss. Couple of Widow Mines are now on the way for ByuN, so actually going to be Widow Mines, not Hellions. The mines are an interesting choice. Is he just going to like waddle these guys across the map? Because his starport's going to be a while done. So maybe just place the mines out randomly on the map, hope for a unit pickup from the Protoss, or just burrow him on top of the ramp. That's one way to do it. Is ByuN going to go for an armory then? He doesn't have the gas right now, but an armory, if you're going for this many early Widow Mines, would be pretty sick. So maybe we'll see that. Maybe we'll see an armory at some point. Trap behind this, building up Phoenix. I do feel that this match, I've done a bad job focusing on what Trap's doing. But once again, you tend to focus on the player who's the one that's the instigator in StarCraft 2 matches, because you want to see what they're doing, so then you can gauge how their opponent's going to react. And it really is ByuN that's been the instigator of this match. Trap just building up Phoenix, getting ready for some aggression coming his way. All the while, it's going to be a quad Widow Mine drop moving out towards the Protoss' base. The Phoenix haven't moved out yet. But now Trap just going to have to deal with what's coming his way. Maybe he's thinking, right, I haven't seen those Hellions, so maybe I don't have to worry. Or maybe it is just going to be a Widow Mine drop, could be a Liberator, a Banshee, something behind this. You never really know. The Phoenix are there for Trap. ByuN's just going to be boosting on in towards his opponent's base, and here we go. Widow Mine, hot delivery towards the main. First mine burrows, second mine burrows, third mine burrows. How many of them are actually going to get burrowed? Looks like 2 of them do. Widow Mines go off, kills off one of the Phoenix. That mine going to attempt to be re-burrow, but Trap quickly picks it up again, and all those Widow Mines will be cleaned on up for minimal damage. That was, what, 1 dead Phoenix, 2 dead probes? The Medivac kind of just chills out at at the upper left of Trap's base. Trap sends a Phoenix around, but hasn't actually found it. So great call by ByuN, as the hunters were looking for that, but unable to find it. Trap behind this, getting a third base on the way, so this isn't that sort of Terran aggressive play in which you go for aggression, then you go for more and more and more aggression. Instead, it's just one aggressive move, put your opponent on the back foot, and then go for a strong economy yourself. Trap behind this, just building up more and more Phoenix. Maybe going to be looking for some damage now that he's got these, though. Shut down the drop, look for some pickoffs. Sounds about right. Cyclone going to lock onto a Phoenix. That'll shoo them away for now. Gets a bit of damage done to one. Trap does have a third base on the way, however. ByuN's, though, already done. In come the Phoenix, the Cyclone, and Viking, helping zoning those out. So now we see Trap has got a Robo on the way. So he is going to be going into that probably Phoenix Colossus style. He was kind of attempting to go into that in game number 1, but then the Disruptor shots whiffed and he basically just died like it was nothing. So we'll see if that's going to be the case this match or not. I get the feeling no. Yeah, it's just going to be Colossus on the way for Trap. No Phoenix anything, or no Disruptors yet anyway. Third base for ByuN now moving out. Trap does sneak in with his Phoenix, is able to get himself a couple of SCVs, 3 in total actually, then gets out with all the Phoenix, which is a pretty nice achievement. The Protoss player is actually moving out on the map. No, that's an interesting choice. Is he just going to try and take a fight or something before the third of the Terran, or before Stim for the Terran's done? That would be so weird, but that's a really cool move out if he does pull something like this off. I mean, a Colossus against a non-stimmed bio is basically just... It's just a giraffe just picking off leaves of a tree. The leaves can't fight back, and that's basically what non-stimmed bio is. The one thing here for the Terran is the tank, really. And looks like Trap might actually be coming on in to catch ByuN off guard early on. Stim pack isn't yet done by the Terran, and it's quite a ways away, 25 seconds, so ByuN's got to be careful. He sees the army now. Is he going to siege up that tank? That's what I want to see. There we go, now the tank's sieging up. ByuN's actually just going to instantly go for a drop. Look at the reaction on this Terran player. He's like, yeah, my opponent's out on the map. All right, I'll go for a drop. Now, then we take a look here. Drop's moving out on the map. ByuN has had this be spotted, though, so he's going to have to boost away. That observer, I believe, over his base was able to make the work happen. And then, yeah, this observer just chilling over the third. Not been scanned and killed off by ByuN. Getting that would be important. There we go. Now it's dead. Trap, though, kind of anticipated that drop. He dealt with it, so now ByuN's going to feel more pressure to make something happen. All the while, the Protoss player does have charge. He's getting up an extra forge, a Templar Archives on the way, all that good stuff that Protoss likes. His bio out on the map, trying to make something happen. Marines and Marauders stimmed, looking to make a play, but with Zealots in the main, a lot of Zealots in the main base, and then the Phoenix there too. There's just not a lot of room for ByuN to get some damage done. Maybe an attack on the front is his best bet. There's only 2 Colossus for the Protoss until just now, which a third one pops out. And attacking head-on into 3 Colossus isn't easy. It looks like, though, Trap's out of position as ByuN just stims on in towards his third base. This means the mines and tanks are going to be able to get set up. ByuN has the mines there. The tank's not actually sieged, though, so he's just going to take this fight. Widow mines are going to go off. ByuN's going to unsiege and re-siege those. all the while retreating with his bio. He had a drop that got off in the main, but didn't get much damage done at all, and ByuN just has to retreat all the way home, not taking the best fight there. This bio is very overstimmed, having to retreat from the army of Trap, and yeah, ByuN went for a play, but did not have a ton of success there. He's now going for a drop, but the units in these medivacs are actually kind of injured already, so he's just going to unload towards the 4th base location, hopefully pick off this 4th base for him. And it looks like he probably will be able to get the cancel on it. Indeed, the answer is going to be a yes. Phoenix getting zoned out by the Marines. ByuN's got to be careful not to lose these units, though. Just loads on up, boosts away, trying to keep all these units alive, which is very darn important. All the while, the army now moving towards the 3rd base again. Or at least a handful of units. There's the rest of the army. Trap already being at that critical 3 Colossus count is heading into Disruptors as a way to bolster his army next. He is still down on supplies, so he needs to get those efficient trades or get 1 or 2 really good efficient trades, and that all of a sudden will turn the game on its head for the Terran. Trap also has a 5th base on the way, says, alright, you know what, you're probably going to snipe one of these bases, so I'm just going to go and hedge my bets, go for that double expand option. I also love the positioning of this Disruptor, just waiting potentially for the Terran army to wander into a vulnerable position. Colossus moving forward, going to be shredding those Marines, those poor guys who are at the front of the pack. ByuN getting in hand shockwaves. He's got his 2-2 done in just a second here. All the while, the Protoss, though, does have his own 2-2 on the way. He's got Immortals, Disruptors. We really are heading into a late-game match right now, which I feel is where Trap excels, but I'm not going to sleep on ByuN for this one. ByuN could potentially be the one who takes the series if he's able to win this match. We do see these Disruptors out there being a threat. ByuN also going for a Widow Mine drop with those Cloaked Mines. Able to get 6 probes. Probably going to get 1 or 2 more. It makes that 8. Trap has to get detection into position to help deal with that. And all the while, the Terran is now going to be moving forward with just his Marines and Marauders, a couple of Ghosts in tow, which really is quite bizarre against a Protoss force that does have Colossus in it. Like, no Vikings against Colossus is rather odd. That's not going to stop ByuN, though, just from charging forward, embracing the base trade, as we see Trap now charge up ByuN's ramp. He kills off the 4th base. ByuN kills off this location, but of course ByuN's got to be very wary of the Disruptors that his opponent has, so he targets down one of the Robos right away. Second Robo is producing a Disruptor while this goes on. ByuN not dealt with that. We see Zealots are in the main base. We see Colossus are there too, but take a look at this. Oh gosh, this is looking really, really darn good for ByuN right now. He's holding his main base ramp, so his production is still going. The Disruptor pops out, but doesn't get a good shot off. The natural base of Trap is gone. The 3rd is gone. It looks like a recall in the main was used. Disruptor Nova does go down the ramp. ByuN didn't split his army, loses a huge chunk. Another Nova goes off, gets some good work done. And now we do see Trap potentially taking a great engagement. So far, it's gone phenomenal, and it looks like he will close it out, picking off those Marauders. And all of a sudden, ByuN, who had a 40 army supply lead, is now just staring down the loaded gun that's basically this strong Protoss army. Trap's lost 49 workers. ByuN's lost gosh knows how many SCVs too. The Terran, though, does still have Ghosts for EMP, does still have an orbital command he was able to land. Those SCVs didn't need to run all the way back there. I guess they're heading to the natural? Yeah, they're heading to the natural. ByuN was almost able to pick off this Nexus as well with those few Marines, which would have been really good for him. But Trap looks like he did keep a base alive, getting up a couple more gateways, keeping his production going. This game is still progressing forward. ByuN has +3 armor on the way, interestingly enough. +3 armor before his +3 attack. He also went for this before. He also went for his +2 armor before his +2 attack, which is rather interesting. Oh, Phoenix get picked off. Let's take a look here. Trap going to be moving forward. EMPs are landing on the Protoss force, but keep in mind there's no Vikings to deal with this, so ByuN just has to basically try and kite back. couple of the Archons are very injured, but all the ghosts are gone. This is because ByuN was actually just going for a crazy Liberator Viking move out, but these, of course, are not participating in the fight to help him out now. There's only one Medivac with his army to heal it up. We see ByuN landing these Vikings against Zealots, but that's not what you want to do. He's denying mining at this location, but Trap's got this space here. All of a sudden, it looks like Trap may be able to just claw this one back so narrowly. He's mining more than his opponent. He's got a more efficient army. These Liberators are going to annihilate that Stalker or shoot it pretty darn hard. But at the same time, Trap's still just happily mining at this base. He's going to be taking another Nexus during this. And ByuN, just, gosh, those Disruptor hits against him were completely what turned this game on its head. I thought for a second there was no way ByuN was going to lose, but then it's just, nope, godlike Disruptor hits. A nice scan does pick off that one Observer. Once again, though, ByuN moves out for a drop. His army's kind of out to lunch here a little bit, just running away from this army as Trap realizes this position and is just going to chase this force out onto the map. I'm not sure where ByuN can go. Looks like ByuN is going to get this Nexus. He's grouped up with his Liberators and his Vikings. He could really do with those coming out to help. The Liberators are not doing so. The Bio just going to be retreating away. Behind this, we see Trap has got up another Robo, so he's able to get that Disruptor production going once again, which is really great for the Protoss. ByuN making what he can still. Retains an army supply lead, but Trap's economy is starting to shoot up, whereas ByuN's kind of just stagnated. 40 probes to 26 SCVs. And now let's take a look here. Colossus now moving forward for Trap. They've really been uncontested the majority of this game. Ghost's gonna try and land some EMPs. They do hit some pretty solid ones, but Disruptors still have their bite. This Orbital Command being worked on. ByuN charges forward, picks off one Disruptor shot, doesn't get all three in time, so a massive connection goes down. He snipes down one of the Colossus like it's nothing. However, though, the Archon's still pushing forward, buffering so much. The Stalkers blink forward onto ByuN's army. They are melting underneath the force of the Bio. We see Zealots charging forward. Vikings pick off one of the Colossus. This is such a crazy fight. Both players down in the 70 supply mark. ByuN's army supply does remain higher than his opponent's. He's got the Liberator, he's got the Vikings still. Trap's gonna go for it, though. The Mad Lad into the Liberator charges forward. We see a Disruptor Nova force ByuN's army to split. A lot of ByuN's supply is in the Medivac, so it's a little bit deceiving. We see SCVs get pulled. The Disruptor's still alive, but in the end, Trap is able to take it and keep his dreams alive in this series. Beautifully done by Trap. Oh my gosh, what a match. What a match. Gosh, that last minute fight, like, the supply lied there. ByuN was ahead, but Trap took a really darn good fight. I guess a lot of ByuN's supply was in the Medivacs or tied up in production. And then Trap just with stones went for it. Like, there was 3 Marauders that weren't in position to take part of the fight right away there. That's supply that really wasn't a factor. And then, yeah, beautifully done by Trap, just barely able to take the game. Let's load into the next one and see if Trap's able to bring us to a game number 7. Oh man, casting is just like, it's just like going to the gym or whatever. You don't use those muscles for a while, and you are sore for a bit. Definitely something that requires some practice, and I know I haven't commentated a ton lately, but any feedback is appreciated. If you guys enjoy these longer casts, let me know, and I'll maybe try and do some more. Really, the reason why I haven't been commentating like super long matches or like full best of 5s or 7s lately is that I've just been busier. So, but if you guys do enjoy this kind, let me know by slapping that like button, and I'll try and make it a habit. Yeah, because yeah, I do enjoy casting as much as I possibly can. Now let's take a look here. Probe scout out for Trap once again. ByuN going for a double gas once more. Really enjoying this kind of play. If you want to know what the Terran standard is, like, I'd honestly look at ByuN and then look at someone like maybe TY Maybe innovation. Innovation might be a good choice too. As far as Terrans, like, so you have the different ends of the spectrum as far as, like, ByuN, who's the crazy aggressive one, and that if he can make an aggressive play work, it seems that he will try. Whereas then you maybe check out, like, the other Terrans, like Innovation or TY, so then you can basically be like, oh, yeah, this kind of aggression player is being done by everyone, or is it more just of a ByuN thing? I think it really is just every Terran, though, is pretty confident going for these sort of double gas plays lately. We see Cybercore first for Trap. Natural reaction to scouting out that the Terran isn't going for a Reaper Expand. Trap, interestingly enough, moving down with his probe. Oh, shenanigans are afoot. As that probe is thinking of tossing up a pylon. It hasn't just yet. Is he gonna build it somewhere else? Or did he change his mind? Aw, did Trap chicken out? It looks like he did. That's a bit of a bummer, as he does not build up that pylon. And decides to build his Stargate at home. Aw, wah, wah, wah. Not cheesing the heck out of his opponent. Maybe Trap thinking about the longer part of the game, thinking about how his opponent's being aggressive and he doesn't want to try and enter that aggressive base race, that aggressive damage off, whatever you want to call it. This Marine actually gets teamed on by that probe and Adept. The probe wasn't the one who got the kill, but definitely put in some work. And yeah, I do find it interesting how Trap basically says, no Stargate out on the map because I know that ByuN's going to be coming at me, and I just want to be able to shut down his aggression. Which, of course, does have its upsides and its downsides. I mean, he would have got damage done to ByuN had he gone for that proxy Stargate, but then he'd probably have taken a lot more damage to these Hellions. However, at the same time, he might take damage to these Hellions anyway. So you never really know. These Hellions are now going to be just driving up towards this wall. There is a shield battery almost done. Looks like it will be done in time, as these Hellions are going to light up this Adept, but because of that shield battery, that Adept, she'll be doing just fine. These Hellions, yeah, really trying to get shots off on her, as the shield battery's almost out of energy, but then a Stalker comes forward. The Hellions just constantly shooting away on these Adepts. Looks like they do get away, the Hellions, with just taking a lot of damage, but then, oh... Widowmine drop moving in as the next step. Let's see, there goes the Widowmine drop moving towards the main base. There is 2 Phoenix, so each mine should be able to be lifted up, but of course they won't actually be killed. And these are indeed the Drilling Clawed Widowmines, so we're going to need to see some detection from Trap. And by the Drilling Clawed Widowmines, I don't mean the quick burrow. I mean there's an armory out for ByuN in order to make it so that detection is required clean up these Widowmines. So we see Trap chrono boosting out an Oracle now. He did start up a Robo, but did he cancel that? I guess he did. And Trap actually just said, you know what, no, I need an Oracle as quick as possible. That'll be the faster route to detection. Here goes in that extra drop for ByuN, though, now moving towards the natural base of Trap. If one mine burrows at this natural, it's going to be rather painful. We see 8 probes go down. Mine's now burrowing at the natural, and oh gosh, Trap is going to be in trouble as 19 probes die. Oh, that's terrible. Oh my gosh, 19 probes. The Hellions, the mines, the combo was just brutal. We see that Trap now has another Oracle on the way, but he actually doesn't have energy for another Revelation spell. Or no, he does. Pardon me. Only requires 25 these days. I forgot about that. ByuN, though, oh my god, killed off 19 workers. Another Widowmine drop going off. 4 more probes going down. Make that 5. Another Revelation will have to be burned, keeping these Phoenix back at home, denying any counter damage. The Medivac will be cleaned on up, but at the same time, ByuN has got a command center that he can just float down. He's got another Widowmine drop moving across the map. When your opponent is basically just using Widowmines or using Oracles and Phoenix, you may as well just drop non-stop and just keep trying to get damage done. Just keep spamming out Widowmines with that reactor, as you can produce them oh so quickly. Now, here goes out another drop. There is the Phoenix in position, so there shouldn't be any more damage done by this. Revelation gets used. The mines do get lifted up, which is important. Looks like the Medivac will be cleaned on up. Both the Widowmines are cleaned up. If ByuN's going to go for a further drop, he's probably going to want to do so with 4 Widowmines at once, because the 4 Phoenix or there's not going to be 4 Phoenix in position to lift them all up. But ByuN probably going to end his drop stage now, as he's just confidently going to be starting up Stim Pack, going to be starting up Combat Shield pretty soon after that, I imagine. +1 on the way. He can make Medivacs once he has his starport on that reactor. Where is his starport, by the way? There it is. Oh, I was looking right at it. Silly me. Silly me, that's a brain fart there. But yeah, ByuN's in an incredible spot this match. 37 SCVs to 35 probes. Trap is a fighter, not giving up just yet, realizing that ByuN really delayed his own economy to go for that damage, but I think even Trap knows how much trouble he is in, so he's just going to try and hunker down on 2 bases. He's going to need to hope for some very, very efficient fights. And when I say hunker down on 2 bases, I mean Trap, shortly after me saying that, decides to take a 3rd base. So, gonna be getting that up, but I don't think Trap can possibly hope to defend that 3rd base, so he's just gonna have to play one of those games in which the Protoss player makes play after play in order to pick off Terran units at very, very high dividends. ByuN now moving out on the map. He doesn't have Stim Pack just yet, doesn't have Combat Shield just yet. However, he's so confident that he's gonna move out towards the 3rd base of the Protoss player. These Phoenix and Widow Mines are now gonna be, or the Phoenix are actually going to catch one of these Widow Mines. The Oracles are there too. Oracle using their Revelation Beam, going to try and pick off a Marauder or 2. Not going to be able to get them. Maybe tag that army with a Revelation, we shall see. Look at that though, Widow Mines being picked up by Trap. That's the kind of play that he needs. Now he's removed 3-4 Widow Mines from the equation. Widow Mine does actually hit one of those Adepts, or hit the Stalker. But oh gosh, in the main base, oh no, 13 more probes just died. The drop now gonna move towards the natural base. Gonna be killing off at least another couple probes. Oh gosh, 16 probes died just like that. And just when you think Trap may be coming back into this game, ByuN just kills off 16 probes like it's nothing. Now he stims towards the 3rd base. He's gonna be able to potentially kill this off. Recall does get used to get on top of this base. Looks like ByuN may be forfeiting all this bio in order to clean this up. No, the Nexus actually stays alive with the Colossus, with the Phoenix. ByuN taking a bit of an L there. At least Trap was able to get something paid in return for that. One of the Oracles does die, but at the same time, all the Marines get lifted up. Trap keeps his 3rd base alive, so he's not dead yet. He's saying, I'm not dead yet, but I'm on my way out the door. As Trap down to 38 probes is just below the critical economy that Protoss needs. If we pull up an income graph, it really goes to show how far ahead ByuN's been this entire game. You can see when the shenanigans really started, as Trap just gets hit hard. I will say Trap's Phoenix and Oracles have been doing the work. Have been doing some work, but it's still going to be very, very hard for Trap to come back in this game supply-wise, though it's relatively even. As we do see, ByuN 58 army supply, Trap 44, the worker count rather close, which isn't great for Trap, seeing as how ByuN does have his 3rd base on the way, and now he's dropping mules at it. But you never know. Trap working hard to come back in this game. He's actually going to start +1 air attack, so really, really keeping his reliance on those Phoenix. Trap gonna have to deal with ByuN now, moving across the map. ByuN scans forward, looking for an observer, not gonna find it. The bio army of ByuN moving towards a potential 4th base location, but there's no 4th yet. The Phoenix are in wait in the main base. Widow Mine drop now gonna be bounced towards that 3rd base. Observers will allow that to be cleaned on up. The main army for ByuN now coming towards the natural base. Force fields go down. These Widow Mines can be segmented off and cleaned up. Getting the Widow Mines is really nice by Trap. He does clean up most of that army without too much worry. However, the Widow Mine's going to hit the natural base. Beautiful split by Trap, though, able to keep those probes alive. Barely staying alive, walking a very fine line. A drop now moving towards the main base. Widow Mine's going to burrow. However, it wasn't a full HP Widow Mine, so it does get picked off by that Stalker Warpin. Really well done by Trap. And Trap has been getting good pickoffs. ByuN's been making aggressive plays, but so far the Protoss player has really turned it on and is keeping it going. He's going to be playing this sort of odd Sky Toss Colossus style, as he's getting up a fleet beacon and extra Stargate, so really going to be relying on these Phoenix Colossus in order to make his plays happen. One of the highest efficiency compositions there is for Protoss playing against Terran. That being said, it's not an easy style to pull off. We see ByuN, he's already getting up a Ghost Academy, which is huge when it comes to dealing with Mass Phoenix. Would a Mine drop, now going to be going towards the third base. One mine goes down, gonna burrow. Does Protoss clean that up? Yes, he does in time. The Phoenix gonna pick off this other one. Does he lift up that mine? No, he doesn't. Oh my gosh, it's actually gonna get a shot off. Oh, just barely not getting the shot off. 2 probes do die in the end, but that drop is cleaned up. Another drop maybe moving towards the north there. It's actually just gonna be a bait play by ByuN. Gosh, he's so smart. The Widow Mines do get lifted up as there was an observer in position. However, Trap gonna be able to pick off yet another medivac. The Phoenix are doing some good work, and wow, if we take a look, Trap is actually going into carriers right away. Carriers. Phoenix gonna be lifting on up that Marine. Battery is getting set up. Trap knowing he needs lots of static defense to make this sort of carrier disruptor style work. Seeing as how we'll be eating EMPs for lunch now that ByuN's got those out. The Phoenix looking for whatever pickoff they can get still. Widow Mine will get a connection off. Does that mine get picked up? Should be at some point. Lots more batteries on the way for Trap, really realizing that he needs to regain shields on his army once he gets EMP'd. Carriers are now out though for the Protoss, the first 2. Another one on the way, however, Trap will need to squeeze out a few more of those. You need to get up that carrier count as quickly as possible. The carriers will have +2 attack soon as well, which is very important. The disruptors, despite being at a ground upgrade disadvantage, will do fine because they're disruptors. And Trap, believe it or not, has played this game out to the point which the damage he took in the early game is becoming less and less significant, as that's just naturally how Starcraft 2 works out. Being down 10 workers isn't as important later in the game as it is in the early game. Let's take a look. A scan goes down by ByuN, looking for observers, looking to keep the pressure on his opponent. Carriers have now revealed themselves. Colossus and Force Fields getting some really nice pickoffs on that Terran Force. Some Marines, some Marauders. Really loving the use of spellcasters by Trap. Just producing more and more disruptors, more and more carriers, and that's why this combo is so lethal for the Terran to deal with. I mean, you can't stim on top of disruptors easily. And then, of course, the carriers require you to basically clump up to deal with them. So it's a catch-22 for the Terran. We do see ByuN just moving forward with his massive army, however. And there isn't much as far as... Phoenix or 2 gets picked off. There isn't that much to deal with this. Colossus are in position. Battery Overcharge gets used. Disruptors coming forward, but the Terran army is already on top of them. The Disruptors fire their Novas a little bit too late. One gets a Nova off, but ByuN's actually just charging forward. The carriers in the sky, however, are going to go unopposed. The Phoenix there too, able to pick off the Medivacs, lift up the Marauders, get guaranteed kills. And while ByuN does get the third base of the Protoss, that costs him a lot to make that happen. And now we take a look. ByuN just producing 10 Marines at a time, knowing he's going to be in trouble and needs anti-air stat. He does have ghosts. He does have turrets up. EMP will be critical as far as dealing with this army goes. And ByuN actually just is scary enough to force Trap home. Trap decides to make more Colossus, which I think is a great choice, of course, based on the mass Marine production of ByuN. Trap, though, while he got a great engagement there, it definitely could have been a better one. He didn't fire his disruptor shot soon enough. The Terran players seemed to get close real quick. Trap wants to get up a 5th base, but that's yet to happen. He's really just got to focus on rebuilding his army. Supply now even. Trap had a lead for a little bit there. The carrier count starting to go up further and further. Colossus production still going on. We see a Protoss player who's got 1 Colossus out, 2 Colossus out in just a second, but really just a slow carrier army, so Trap's going to have to be very wise as far as splitting his force goes. I absolutely think he's going to need another disruptor or 2. Really just need to rebuild some of those shield batteries and stuff as well, because once the Viking count reaches a certain point for ByuN, which he's now starting to do, that's when carriers start getting targeted down like it's nothing. and you really need the shield batteries to counteract that as the Protoss. We see shield upgrades on the way, armor upgrades on the way for those carriers. Trap really wants to toughen those up. The Viking and Marine count just shooting on up, though, for the Terran. And this is where it's getting really concerning. Trap's been trying to come back in this game. I'm worried, though, that his ground army just isn't enough. There's 2 Colossus, soon to be 3 Colossus. There's 3 joining up, a couple Disruptors on the way. 1 Disruptor's out, but I honestly don't know if that's enough, and there's no shield batteries here to help out this army. The Vikings are going to be so scary. EMP goes down on the carriers. The Interceptors are doing what they can against the Marines. A Disruptor Nova forces this Terran army away, and the Interceptors are doing surprisingly well against the Marines, but their numbers are thinning out, and I think Trap's going to have to retreat against this. All the Interceptors are gone. He's going to have to rely on the Colossus against these Marines. Thank gosh the Colossus are there to zone the Marines away, because, man, Trap loses all of his Interceptors, now has to rebuild those costly things. And, yeah, this is not going to be easy for Trap. He needed some shield batteries at that location, I feel. He's rebuilding a couple now, but I'm quite concerned for Trap. The lack of Psystorm is kind of understandable, as, of course, it's been a hard fight back for Trap this game. He's got out a Disruptor or 2, which I think is an absolute necessity. He's even rebuilding Phoenix because he knows he needs something to deal with the Viking count that ByuN's been growing. And now let's take a look. ByuN, with a bunch of Marines towards the bottom left, is thinking of stimming on up. What's there in position for Trap? The answer is not a lot. He's going to have to rely probably on a recall to be in the correct position for this fight. He's got his carriers and Colossus towards the north. He's got Colossus and some Disruptors near the south, but they're actually moving away from that location, and all of a sudden in comes ByuN with a boatload of Marines just gonna target down those shield batteries. Looks like it's probably, is it gonna be a recall? No, it's just gonna be the army walking into position here, but that's just too slow in order to deal with those Marines. So Trap not splitting his army appropriately. Even 1 Disruptor or something there would have been huge. If he had those units more to the south, he would have saved that base, but it's just hard to be able to split your army and manage it appropriately against a maxed out Terran who's got all the wiggle room in the world to make a play happen. ByuN getting up extra command centers, getting up extra bases with a roaring economy, whereas Trap is just barely holding on. The Protoss player has now been rebuilding up his Phoenix count still, just as he needs something to deal with those Vikings. Does he have range for the Phoenix? The answer is no, which is a little bit concerning. I think Trap will need that, as you gotta have range in order to let those Phoenix tango with the Vikings. The carriers are all by themselves. Where's the Protoss force to buffer for this? The answer is not there. Where's the Disruptor Novas? They go out. Does ByuN split well enough? Looks like he splits pretty darn well. The Phoenix weren't in position, though, to help deal with the Vikings. They finally show up, but all the carriers, Interceptors are gone. ByuN stims forward. He had distracted Trap with a drop in the main base while this was going on. And in the end, it looks like ByuN able to take the series 4-2. 4-2. GG gets called as the Protoss player is unable to hold on. It was a great attempt by Trap, able to try and come back in the game, but in the end, ByuN just had too much of a lead there from the start. I mean, a huge commendation towards Trap in order to fight that game back so much, but ByuN just confident enough of a Terran player to play against this kind of composition. A lesser Terran might have eaten some big Disruptor hits, might have misplayed more, but ByuN barely misplayed this series, it seems. He barely gave Trap anything to work with, it seems. Like, if we watch other Terrans play, we might see them go for a drop that gets shut down, nothing happens, you lose 2 full medivacs. And we did see that happen to ByuN once or twice in the series, coincidentally, in some of the games that he lost. But then the rest of the series, he was playing pretty much flawlessly, I'll say. And Trap, as a defensive Protoss player, wasn't really left with anything to work with besides being on the back foot most of the time. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this match, if you enjoyed the full best of 7, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, which is linked down below. Consider becoming a member if you want to support the channel. There's various perks you can get. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Laughin' Games. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.